Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You who are watching this video today, it is no coincidence. A moment ago, something began to move in the invisible, something that you yourself cannot yet see, but that your soul feels gently, powerfully. Allah has led you here because an urgent message is intended for you. You are not falling. You are being repositioned. And very soon, you will see a miracle so great. It will attract stares, whispers, jealousies. You have suffered in silence. You continued to invoke when everything seemed closed. But Allah does not sleep, and He has heard each of your secret tears. There are people around you who don't know what you're going through, but they sense that something different is upon you. It's the light of Allah. It's His hand that silently lifts you up, while others have underestimated you. You wear a crown that others didn't see coming, and this crown is the result of a heart that has held firm, despite abandonment, despite trials, despite betrayals. Some will soon be asking themselves, how did he do it? Why her and not me? But what they don't know is that what you are about to receive, what Allah is about to bring forth in your life, is not the result of chance. It is the fruit of your patience, your faith, your prostrations in the darkness. Allah prepared this blessing while you thought you were forgotten. And now, listen carefully. Your miracle is closer than ever. But it won't come as you imagine. It will come as a heavenly answer that will break down the walls around you, as a fire that cleanses your past, and as a powerful wave that propels you to places you never thought you would go. Do you want proof that it's coming soon? Do you want to understand why what's coming to your door will create tension, envious looks, and jealousy even among your loved ones? Then stay until the end of this video, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal to you the clear signs that your life is about to enter a new season, blessed, uplifted, but also observed. Hang in there. Don't minimize what you feel. And above all, prepare yourself. Because when Allah decides to elevate His servant, no one can extinguish that light. When Allah prepares a miracle in your life, He does so in a sacred silence, not an empty silence, not a silence of abandonment, but a divine silence, filled with wisdom, calculation, perfection. It is in these silences that the greatest victories are born. What you interpreted as a delay is actually a heavenly adjustment. Everything you thought was lost, every prayer you thought was ignored, was actually wrapped up, protected, guarded, for the right moment. Remember the Prophet Yusuf, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. Thrown into a well, forgotten, sold into slavery, wrongly accused, imprisoned. He might have thought everything was against him, but behind Allah's long silence, a gigantic miracle was being built. Yusuf was not rejected. He was hidden, preserved for the throne, raised out of sight to be placed before crowds. What you are experiencing now is not forgetfulness. It is a sacred concealment. Allah has set you aside, not because you were not ready, but because the world wasn't ready for you. He kept you in the waiting room, not to punish you, but to train you, to polish you, to purify you. Because what awaits you requires an inner strength you would never have had without this season of solitude. Sometimes Allah takes everything away from you so that you can find Him alone. He closes doors, pushes people away, slows down the movement. Not because He rejects you, but because He wants you to hear what you couldn't hear in the noise. It is in the quietest moments that the strongest hearts are born. And today, that silence is coming to an end. You feel signs. You perceive something changing in the air. You can't explain it yet, but there's a spiritual stirring within you. As if your soul were crying out to you, prepare yourself. It's Allah who is beginning to lift the veil. He spent time writing your story in the unseen, and now He will reveal it to those who buried you alive. They thought it was over for you. But Allah says in the Quran, they plan, and Allah plans. And Allah is the best of planners. Surah Al-Imran 354. Those who ignored you will see your light. Those who extinguished you will see Allah light you. And those who spoke behind your back will see Allah raise you up before them. But be careful. This miracle will not come loudly. It will not be accompanied by drums or applause. It will come softly, majestically, like dawn breaking the night. And those who have eyes to see will see it. The others will be troubled, because they will not understand how someone like you was chosen, blessed, raised up. And every distinction attracts attention. Everything that shines in the darkness attracts attention, but also jealousy. You cannot carry the light of Allah without provoking reactions around you. Your faith, your inner strength, your patience, your elevation, all of this disturbs those who have not understood that blessing is a secret between the heart and heaven. You may think that people hate you for no reason, that they turn away from you, or that they criticize you without justification. But the truth is, it is not you they see. It is what Allah has put in you that they cannot bear. There is a divine power within you that confronts them with their own emptiness. Your faith is a mirror that reflects their lacks. Your crown makes them aware of their own insecurity. Remember the story of Iblis. He did not refuse to prostrate because he was ignorant of Allah's greatness. He refused because he could not bear that Allah would bestow such honor upon Adam. It was not a theological dispute. It was pure jealousy. And even today, the spiritual jealousy crosses the hearts of those who see your elevation without understanding its origin. They don't know how much you cried. They don't know how much you prayed. They don't know how many nights you spent alone supplicating Allah. All they see is the result, the peace on your face, the stability in your soul, the light in your eyes. And that's enough to awaken in them a disturbance, a comparison, a silent rage. But Allah said, grace is in the hands of Allah. He gives it to whom He wills. Surah Al-Hadid 57:29. And if He chose you, it is not because you are perfect. It is because you submitted. You accepted His decisions when others rejected them. You remained faithful when others abandoned Him. You glorified Allah in the darkness, and now Allah raises you to the light. So do not be surprised if some try to imitate you, compete with you, or minimize what you have received. Do not be troubled if some whom you loved turn away from you. For your crown is not visible to all, but it is felt by those who fear never to receive it. You bear a spiritual distinction that only sincere obedience to Allah can grant. And yes, your blessing will be talked about. It will disturb even those who have never paid attention to you before. You will become a topic of conversation, a mystery to be explained, a presence they cannot ignore. But don't worry. Allah does not bestow a crown without also giving protection. He does not elevate you without hiding you under His mercy, so walk with dignity. Be grateful, not arrogant. Humble, not self-effacing, because the further you go, the more stares you'll get. But your peace shouldn't come from their validation. It comes from your connection with the one who chose you. And stay here, because in the sequel, you will discover what you must go through before you fully receive this blessing, and why the test before victory is sometimes the most painful. Allah never gives elevation without crushing pride. And it is in this phase that many give up. Before victory comes, one must first walk through fire. Before light can manifest, one must first walk in darkness. Before the crown can be placed, the test must break that which is not made to wear it. This is how Allah trains His chosen ones. It is not by ease, nor by apparent privilege, but by a series of tests that refine, purify, and transform. You may be wondering why you're going through so much pain, why you've lost things, people, and points of reference. You pray, you wait, you trust. But sometimes things get worse before they get better. Don't think this is a bad sign. It often is. The last crush before liberation. Allah is preparing you for something so great that you cannot achieve it with your old version. Remember Musa. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. Before he could free his people, he had to flee. Before he could speak before Pharaoh, he experienced exile, fear, and loneliness. And even after receiving the mission, he crossed the sea with his panicking people behind him and a tyrant in front of him. Yet, it was in this chaos that Allah parted the sea. It was in the moment of greatest impossibility that the miracle manifested itself. You too may be experiencing an impossible sea ahead of you, a situation you cannot cross on your own. But what you don't see is that behind this impossibility, there's a decree, just waiting for you to reach the breaking point, to open up. Allah loves hearts that hold firm even when everything seems to be falling apart. Tests don't come to break you, they come to purify you. There are fears, blockages, addictions, illusions within you. And Allah, in His love, wants to remove them before elevating you. For your blessing must not become your trap. And if you receive something too soon, without being ready, it can turn you away instead of bringing you closer. The test is a tool, not an end. It doesn't last forever. It has a beginning, an intensity, and then a deliverance. But be careful. What determines whether you pass through this test with victory is your inner posture. Do you remain faithful? Do you continue to invoke even when nothing changes? Do you continue to say, "The world is in heaven, even in pain"? The Prophet said, "Whoever Allah wills good, He tests him." Reported by Al-Bukhari. This means that your test is proof of choice, that you were not abandoned but selected. What you are going through now is proof that you are about to receive what you have long asked for. But you must be emptied of the old to be ready to receive the new. So don't give up. Don't confuse the passage with the destination. This fire won't consume you. It will forge you. And very soon, you'll understand why everything you've endured was necessary, why Allah brought you to your knees, only to rise again. Stay tuned, because in the next part, I'm going to show you the clear signs that your miracle is approaching, and why your soul already feels it before your eyes see it. Before Allah's blessing reaches the visible world, it begins to stir something in the inner world. It is like a light that first ignites in the heart, like a new breath that passes through the soul. And if you pay attention, you will feel that something is changing. Among the first signs that your miracle is approaching, there is this uncomfortable inner peace. You don't know how to explain it, but despite the seemingly frozen circumstances, you feel a strange serenity. You no longer cry like you used to. You no longer doubt like you used to. You no longer try to convince others. You are simply there, in a peace that comes neither from people nor from results, but directly from your connection with Allah. There is also this feeling that you are becoming detached from certain people, certain habits, certain places. Allah begins to cut you off from what no longer has a place in the coming season. You feel a kind of emptiness around you. But this emptiness is not abandonment. It is purification. What is leaving is not loss. It is a divine sorting. And when Allah sorts around you, it is because He is preparing a space for a new construction. You also notice that some doors are closing for no apparent reason. Projects you thought were solid are falling through. Relationships you thought would last forever are slowly fading away. But it's not destruction. It's a protection. Allah closes certain roads so that you do not miss the one He has reserved for you. And in this apparent blockage hides a new direction. Another clear sign is that your faith becomes more stable. You no longer need to have understood everything to say, "The world is in heaven." You accept. You submit. You trust, even without seeing. And that is precisely when the miracle comes closer. Because Allah's blessing descends when He sees that your heart no longer depends on sight, but on certainty. And finally, there's that sudden surge of spiritual motivation. You feel the need to pray more, to purify yourself, to get up at night, to cry in secret. It's the soul preparing the ground for the unexpected. It's Allah sending you inner waves to tell you that rain is about to fall, so don't doubt anymore. These shivers, these silences, these intuitions, this emptiness, this refocusing, all these are signs. Your miracle is approaching, and your soul knows it before your eyes. But stay there, because later on, you'll understand how to deal with jealousy and negativity that may arise around you when a divine favor begins to manifest in your life. Because yes, light attracts, but it can also disturb. When Allah begins to manifest His light in your life, everything does not suddenly become easy. Yes, the blessing is there. Yes, the miracle is on the way. But with this elevation also comes a new test, that of the exhibition. And this exposure sometimes attracts glances that do not only bring you good. There are people who will smile at you, but whose hearts will silently burn at the sight of your crown. Not because you have hurt them, but because your light reminds them that they have extinguished theirs. It is an invisible but constant law. Allah's favor disturbs those who live in the shadow of their own dissatisfaction. They watch you rise, and instead of rejoicing for you, they wonder why they are not there. And this is where poisonous words, comparison, veiled criticism, and hypocritical gestures are born. But do not be troubled. Allah has said in the Quran, "They would like to see you fail. Hatred has appeared from their mouths, but what their hearts hide is even worse." Surah Al-Imran 3:118. You are not responsible for their jealousy. You are not responsible for how they feel about what Allah has given you, but you are responsible for your reaction. And your best protection is not to justify yourself. It is not to extinguish yourself. It is not to hide what Allah has granted you. It is to stay focused on your intention, humble before your Lord and protected by His words. Make dhikr. Read Surah Al-Falaq and An-Nas. Remember that even the Prophet Muhammad, the best of men, was targeted by jealousy, hatred, and evil looks. And yet, Allah taught him the weapons of the believer: patience, supplication, and reliance. When you feel that the looks are heavy, that the words are hurtful, that the energy around you is charged, don't panic. It's simply a sign that you're moving up a level, and the higher you go, the more pressure there is. But Allah didn't bring you here to leave you vulnerable. He surrounded you with His protection, and no envious eye can surpass the light that Allah places in a sincere heart. So stand tall. Don't repay evil with evil. Don't waste your time responding to invisible attacks. Walk with dignity, and above all, protect your heart. Because danger doesn't come from others. It comes from the moment you let their negativity reach you, push you away, make you doubt. Keep praying. Keep moving forward. Keep shining. For he who remains close to Allah need not fear those who draw near to Him out of envy. Your light does not depend on their validation. It depends on your steadfastness. And remember this rule: you can't wear a gold crown and expect to go unnoticed. You were formed to shine. You were purified to lead. You were chosen to impact. So carry your blessing with gratitude, not arrogance, with peace, not fear. And keep moving forward, even if you walk alone. In the last part, I will take you further. I will explain to you how to stay steadfast, connected to Allah, and faithful to your path even after receiving your miracle. Because the real victory is keeping your soul intact even after opening. When Allah finally grants you what your heart has longed for, it is not the end of the journey. It is a new beginning. Many believe that blessing is the finish line. But for the heart of the believer, it is the first step of an even greater mission. For what Allah gives you is never just for you. He entrusts something to you so that through your light, others may find their own way. And therein lies the real challenge. Stay connected to Allah after opening. For if you are not vigilant, the miracle you have so much sought may turn you away from the Lord you invoked. You may get lost in the results, become intoxicated by success, or be trapped by applause. But he who knows Allah knows that whatever He gives is only a trust, a test wrapped in a favor. Never let your blessing take the place of the one who gave it to you. Keep praying even in abundance. Keep crying even in victory. Keep bowing down even when everyone else is lifting you up. For the clear-headed believer knows that the real danger is not in the trial, but in forgetting after the easy way out. Look at how much Allah has placed in you. He has tested you, broken you, lifted you up, raised you up, not to expose you to the world, but to raise you up to Him. And if you want your blessing to last, you must root yourself in humility, gratitude, and constancy. Don't try to explain everything. You don't have to convince people that your elevation is deserved. You don't need to show those who abandoned you that you have succeeded. Your peace no longer depends on them. It comes from a sacred place within you, where you meet Allah, far from the noise, far from prying eyes. And now that you wear your crown, remember that the most beautiful ornament is a heart that remains small before Allah. Guard yourself against the traps of arrogance, comparison, and attachment to the world. Be gentle, generous, silent at times, but firm in your faith. Walk through life as someone who has been saved, not as someone who has won. And above all, continue to purify your intention. Say to Allah, O Rabb, what you have given me, I do not want to be a prisoner of it. I want it to bring me closer to you, not to separate me. It is this prayer that will protect your crown. It is this sincerity that will prolong your miracle. And it is this closeness to Allah that will make you not a person blessed for a moment, but a servant exalted for a lifetime. So walk without fear, live without justification, love without expecting anything in return, and raise your heart to the one who has already raised you to the sight of the invisible. And if you feel that this message was for you, then keep it preciously. Come back to it. Meditate on it. And above all, share it with someone who needs it. Because sometimes, a single word can rekindle a faith that is almost extinguished. May Allah protect you, guide you, and make your crown not a burden, but a light that illuminates your path to paradise.